Hi everyone. BCA-101, Wednesday before Thanksgiving. Finished up week 12, starting week 13. Alright, so I did a little review. So we have levels of management and levels of information. And we reviewed a little bit. Top levels of management need strategic. We need the information filtered and summarized. Does that make sense? You take out what you don't need, you group information together, and you move it up through an information system so that the top level management gets information that they need to make strategic informations, which would be a small amount of key information. Middle level management, which there's more people, they need more information to take care of the tactics. You know, the week in, week out, month to month, and maybe yearly reports and so forth. And then first line supervisors, which there are even more of those, they even deal with more information. Their information can't be filtered and is not summarized. It's the exact information for the transaction. If it's retail, okay, somebody here in the workforce, the checkout, when they check it out, it's the exact cost of the item. Typically, I mean, that varies, like if you're selling cars or whatever, but retail. And then that transaction builds a database. Then from this database, we take and we filter information and move up and get smaller and smaller until it's just what people need at a single level. Filtered and summarized. All right. What do people do with the information? They make decisions. Some decisions are very structured, semi-structured, or non-structured. Structured decisions can be made with technology. Okay, a semi-structured decision might be when inventory, what level do we reorder inventory at? And that can be decided looking at lots of information. But let's say when the milk supply gets to 3, or I arbitrarily say that, the actual ordering is a structured decision. Computer can make that structured decision. They can see when the level gets to 3, they send an order to get more milk. Okay? That makes sense? We can use artificial intelligence to help us make non-structured decisions. Decisions that are much more more difficult to make, so to speak. So, like what brand, or do we keep going with this brand, or the final decision to hire somebody in a key spot. You may not use artificial intelligence for that, but that would be a non-structured decision. What colors to go with, and so forth. So we have levels of decision, and then we have information, like we talked about. We have levels of information that's going to help us make decisions. And that happens all the time. I mean, look how simple. You look at your phone to see what the weather is so that you can decide what kind of coat to wear. Okay? And there could be a cutoff where the computer could say, you need this coat because the temperature is this. Okay? That would be a very structured decision. I gave an example of weather affecting companies. When companies have this huge data, they pull in lots of outside data that's collected in lots of other areas to match up with their internal data. And between these two, they can help people make a decision. And we can design management information systems that help us do that. Transaction processing systems, there's all kinds of those around now. Decision support systems, that help us, business people make decisions, software design just to do that. And executive support systems, these are for strategic decisions, analyzing large amounts of data to help us. How do we design an MIS or any of these? How do we design it? this is a top-down example. We define the problem. What do we want to change? Okay, for example, maybe we have a problem that checks are bouncing too much, so we have to have a better way to do it, so maybe we can use debit cards. So we investigate and we define the problem. So if we're going to use debit cards, we do an analysis. You know, how would we get the cards? How would you do security? How would you do this? How would you do this? You analyze how would the information flow. You know, how would it get from where you use a debit card to the bank, and then from that bank to the bank where the money actually is, or the money where you're buying from, or whatever. You could think of this like building a house. The investigation, the problem might be where you live isn't big enough. You got twins on the way, or you're going to have a family and you need a bigger place or whatever. So you do an investigation. Of course, in there you'll check, how much you can spend and so forth. So you define what your problem is, and then you analyze it. Okay. Once you analyze it, you say, okay, I think this is what we're going to do. Then you can design a solution. Okay. If the solution is, if it's building a house, you can actually design the house, blueprints and so forth. If it's an information system, you design it. How is that information going to flow? Manage. How are you going to manage the information through the levels? That makes sense? Once you get the design done, then you develop. You can actually create it. And we're going to talk about, you can write code, you can write your own software to do it, or you can buy software to do that and so forth. And we'll talk about some levels in between here and why you do one or another. Then you implement. You put it into place. You can do you actually convert over to the new system. That would be, if you're talking about the house scenario, that would be the actual move. You're talking about an information system, which we talk about in this class. It's here you're using the old system, and now you're going to use the new system. You can just do a direct flip over to the new one, or you can try it in some spots, a pilot. Try it in just a store or a couple stores. You can phase it in, like do one part of accounting and then payroll and then another part. So you have all these ways to switch over. And then the process repeats. Got the new system. Did you have any problems? If you do, analyze, design, develop code, go back up and check it. And software follows this pattern a lot. You have updates for your software. Windows 10, look how many updates there's been on that in the last year. It's been around about a year. So if you're using Windows 10, if you're a Mac person, then it would be whatever software is updated in the Mac and so forth. All right, and so that's it for today. We are a good share into Unit 7. So you need to continue to work on your outline in Unit 7 and working on the database assignments and projects. That's it.